in the morning. Juice in the morning. Juice in the morning.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Juice in the Morning. I am your host, Justin Juice Kallie. Shane is back this week. How are you doing today, man?
I'm good.
Another year older.
Yeah. Yep. Feels exactly like being 28.
And the people across from me are a podcast that had me on, something that I choose to listen to on a very regular basis, and you guys should too. The Married with Children podcast, Dustin, Roller, and Kallie. Roller as well.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Yes, how are you guys doing?
Good.
You guys feeling okay today as well?
Yeah, we're recovered. We're feeling good.
Good.
Life is good.
Yeah, making it.
I'm telling you that the Married with Children apparel is probably one of my favorite things that I've I think gotten from another podcast. I got a shirt that you guys were very gracious to give me, and now you're rocking a hat. So what the heck's up with that? That's awesome.
Man, I got this awesome guy. His name's Aaron Bales. He runs Fresh Prints. It's a t-shirt
good name.
shop. Yeah, I love it. T-shirt shop in North Vernon, Indiana. Just a local guy, but I always come in with these crazy things and crazy ideas, and he finds out a way to make it happen. Even with the hats, I said, all right, I want to split our logo up. I want to stitch
nice
like
too.
this on
They're
this
stitched.
side. I want this. And he's like, he pulled out some trash hats and did some practice and came in and said, what do you think about this? I said, looks great. And he always takes good care of me. So
I've been checking my mailbox every day for my shirt. It's just not showed up yet. I don't know where it is.
I just thought we probably should have brought you one today.
Actually, if you guys could get him a hat, I think he's a big hat
I'm a
guy.
big hat guy. Yeah.
I'll take care of you.
Cool. Awesome.
We'll get you hooked up.
I'll rock it. I work at a restaurant, so I'll be like, wearing it, and I'll promote you guys all the time.
I love it.
You can wear hats at the restaurant?
Yeah.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah. Well, it used to be we could
that's
only wear
completely against rules in most places.
No, it used to be we had to wear their clothes and their hat, and now all we have to wear is black t-shirts and any hat we want.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, that's
as
a
long
good
as
deal.
it's not like offensive or anything. I wear this hat to work all the time.
That's awesome. What is that again, that hat?
International Harvester.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
nice.
I get a lot of compliments on this hat.
Well, I'm glad to have you back this week.
Yeah,
I missed you terribly last week. I'm
like
sure
almost on a gay level on this too. Almost.
AP gave me a very nice comment. He said that I was listening to it and I heard you were by yourself and I turned the episode off. So thank you, AP.
Damn.
You asshole. I appreciate that.
That makes me feel like that's a little rude, but also makes me feel kind of good.
Right? Yeah. All right. Yeah. So we did their 100th episode yesterday.
Yeah.
So, congratulations to them. I mean, they said that they had a review that said if they kept doing it the way they were doing it, they weren't going to last very much longer. So they've clearly done a good job of lasting.
Well, I kind of want to say that since it was my birthday, I didn't really pay attention to anybody else's life yesterday. So, but I want to say congrats to them. That's a big deal, and I'm going to go ahead and do the opposite of what that guy said and keep doing what you're doing. Yeah, and you guys will be great. And you are great. So
yeah, and I know they've talked about it on their show. I love that guy just for the simple fact that nobody controls what we do with these things. Like, we're doing them ourselves.
Yeah.
Like,
I play licensed music on the regular and nobody's shut me down.
I'm like, go ahead and turn it off then, you asshole. Go back. Go listen to Joe Rogan or something.
I'm not firing myself today, so we're all good.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, huge congrats to them, man. I can't say enough about, kind of the whole group we got. I know you talk about it a lot, Juice, but between them and us and you guys and kind of what we've been able to, help each other out and, give tips, it's a really cool deal. And to see them hit 100, I know you're at what now?
This is 124, I think.
I figured you're in the 120s now. So it's a really cool deal to see all that going on.
Yeah. So that just leads me immediately to what made you guys want to start a podcast?
Well, Kallie, why don't you start? What made you want to start a podcast?
We can thank AP for that, I think is what it is. Dustin's always kind of wanted to do it. And I think that was like last Christmas, like over Christmas break is when I think Dustin went up to Smugcast and sat in on one of it, and he came back and he was like, I really want to do this. And that's when he started ordering all this stuff.
I'm so impressed that you joined in. Because my wife refuses. She's like, I don't
right?
even want to hear my voice on there. I don't want to talk to you on a podcast. She's I've heard your podcast.
People are really critical of themselves. You have people that are like, yes, I'll be on whenever you want. And then you have those people that are like, nope, I have no desire.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the people that when they get there, right at the first, it's so intimidating to have that microphone in front of you.
Oh, yeah.
And then once you get them loosened up and you get going.
Yeah. When I first started, my mom said she could hear a quiver in my voice. That's pretty sad. But she was right, though. I was nervous as shit when I first started.
Yeah. And then once you get into it, you're just like, it's just a conversation and just a mic in front of you. So, no, it was, it kind of started for me. I had a good buddy in college, and we used to sit on Saturday nights on the couch, and we would just sit and argue sports, him and I, while having a good time. And one night we looked up and there was like 6 or 7 people had pulled up chairs and were listening to us argue sports. And we were, one of the other guys that was at the party was like, you guys really should do this. You should do this radio. You guys got to start a podcast. And it never, kind of like you talked last week about life changes and things. It was one of those deals that it was always in the back of my head. I never did it. And then AP and BJ started theirs. I started listening to theirs. The itch got there. I went up, sat in, was like, this is really cool. Knew that the only way I was going to be able to order everything I wanted, I needed my wife on board. So I came home and said, I want you to do this with me.
Nice.
So it was now a joint venture and I could order a lot more stuff. So
nice. That's a perfect way to do it.
It was total. But I'll be honest, she's really, really good. I didn't think she would do it. She's usually a little bit more shy and reserved, but she's the glue that keeps our show going because she's always the one with the stories and the things.
And when you guys were talking on the Newlywed Game the last time, you guys both said that each other thought each other was funny. Like I really appreciated that because I do think that you say some good stuff. Like I think it's a good check and balance.
Has it made you guys closer?
It has.
Yeah,
I mean, the cool thing is, we've had some people I work with that are like, so why do you guys do this? And and it's so funny to me because so many people don't even know what a podcast is.
Yeah,
it's like
which I think is crazy.
Yeah.
So which radio station do I tune to?
Where do I go to listen to? Is it on Facebook? I'm like, dude, like, come on.
That's always the question is I don't even know how to get there.
What do I type in?
Yeah.
Just text me what to type in.
Do I have to buy it on iTunes? So what I tell people is the cool thing for us is, our lives are crazy and we're busy with work and with 2 kids and all the craziness. It's the hour and a half that we sit down and we just talk. I mean, it's because everything else is about life. It's that fast pace. We just sit down and BS back and forth and get to actually have conversation. So I think it makes us closer and stronger.
Yeah. It's one of those things where like, when you do have kids and a lot of stuff going on, it's nice to have this, like, I can always count on this hour or this amount of time where I can kind of like unwind. And like, this is like a,
I always said it was like kind of like therapy almost, like for myself.
It's like meditating, kind of like everyone has their own kind of meditating. I feel like one thing that you do that you kind of just chill and don't think about things. I mean, I guess we're sitting here thinking about stuff, but this is me unwinding and me talking about stuff that I enjoy talking about and I leave here feeling better. So
absolutely,
yeah. Every time that I've done a podcast with somebody for their first time, as soon as they're done, they're like, "So when can we do this again?" Because they always get into it by the end, and it's something that's I think very enjoyable. So that leads me, because you guys have mentioned on your own show that you both kind of work in like the education environment. So do you ever fear that something that you might say on your show might offend people? Well,
it makes me nervous because the kind of the crazy thing was, obviously we didn't know who would listen to our show and how it would go. And I'm a high school principal, and my superintendent of schools last year came up to me and she goes, "I love your podcast." She goes, "We listen to it over here in the office all the time." And then I was kind of like, "Ooh." I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but and I do worry sometimes because I'm a pretty honest and upfront guy, but I just try to be honest and try to get people to understand why we have certain perspectives. But it's something that's always in the back of my head a little bit.
And that's crazy to me.
And I feel like you guys do
You're a high school principal. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And the other thing, we just had our registration a couple weeks ago, and I had 2 sets of parents that came through registration, and here I am. I'm in my full, school shirt, tie, doing the professional thing, and they're like, "Hey, man, I love your podcast. I watch them on Facebook Live every week." And I'm still, it's still that kind of thing of like, "Ooh,
yeah.
What was the last episode?"
What was it?
But it's been good. I mean, I think the coolest thing for us has been the people you meet. I mean, that is.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the interviews we've been able to do, friendships that have come out of it. It's a really, really cool deal. So,
and I think that we're kind of lucky because this is such a new medium, and us forming these like networking relationships are going to like benefit us in the future quite a bit, because the Midwest is kind of like not thought of a whole lot when it comes to any kind of media production. I mean, you do have like some of the bigger ones here in Indianapolis, but for the most part, we're kind of on an island over here by ourselves, and I think that we can make something pretty great. So when you were talking about guests and the people you meet, what's been, Kallie, your favorite person that you've talked to so far? I mean, I guess you don't want to like single somebody out and then make other people mad.
Juice in the morning.
Well, I was going to say that, obviously.
Yeah. When we had him on. No, I don't know. I really enjoy a lot of them, and I think that was part of when we started. Like the first episode or two, it was just him and I talking and everything. And it was like the whole time we're trying to figure out, well, like, what are we, of course, we're just starting. And so it's like figuring out, what are we going to talk about? How long are we going to, let's transition to the next topic type of a thing. And then we started to have some people on. I guess I would say the first episode with NC was probably one of my favorites.
She's hilarious.
Oh my
gosh. Like,
just give her props from me.
Yes. So, I mean,
hilarious.
like, all of them have been great, but that one, like all of the other ones, I think that's when we kind of figured, like, it was really cool to have somebody else on to talk to, or, that kind of thing. And that first episode was just stories of her, like, life. And I can't, like, imagine half of the stuff that has happened to her, So that one, like, after we recorded that one, like, my stomach hurt because I was laughing the whole time. So that was probably the funnest one, I would say. I mean, what about you?
Yeah, that for humor, that one, I would say my favorite guest though that we've really gotten close with is Kyle McIntosh, who's the tattoo artist and graffiti artist right there in our hometown.
That one got a very big boost there. Yeah, because I watched the video and saw that you guys were reaching like 1,800 people or something like that.
Yeah, he's just
probably more now, but that was when I saw it.
He's a guy that grew up in Mars Hill here in Indianapolis. I mean, rough background. And just his story and kind of what he's become is just amazing. I actually went down, he did some ink on me yesterday for about 4 hours.
Nice.
And
where at?
We're tattooed.
Yeah.
My arm.
Nice.
I'm doing a cover up.
Nice.
It's actually a mic. I'll show you after we get done. But so he's just this cool guy. I mean, he's got a whole different life view. He's had a lot of experiences, but and he's invited us to do a lot of things in the community. We bought him and I, married with children in his shop, bought 50 haircuts for kids going back to school.
I wanted you guys to talk about that.
And, and that's not, I mean, it was just so cool to be a part of it. Kallie went down to check out how things were going. I was at work and there was like 10 bicycles outside the tattoo
they were busy,
shop,
weren't they?
And everybody's in there getting their hair cut.
That's awesome.
So it's just been really cool, the stuff he's let us jump in and help with him. And he's probably been my favorite guest so far,
right.
but all of them bring something that's really interesting.
Oh, yeah. So Shane, out of the episodes we've done,
Jake Johnson.
I'd seriously agree that's probably
craziest, most surreal
top
thing.
3, and he's number 1.
Yeah, the craziest, most surreal thing that I've ever done is talk to a movie star.
Well, and what I'm sad about is the fact that I assumed that he was just going to do audio, like just call us or like Skype us, just do the audio. And he literally Skyped in video. So I wish I had like a stand or something so that we could actually see talking to him.
Because he was just looking at the ceiling.
Yeah, he was just looking at the ceiling.
We're going to set the phone down now. Because we thought it was just like a Skype call, not a Skype. But he actually videoed in and was just sitting there like I was watching it because it was like right here. And he was just kind of like, I was watching him like just kind of sit on a bed, I think, and talk to us.
I think it was like his like futon.
Yeah, he was just chilling. Kind of, he had a cup of coffee.
His hair was like kind of like,
like he was just kind of chilling at his house, and I'm like, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be honest. We talked about kind of being nervous when you start these things, but with the run of guests that you guys have had in the last month or two, I feel like I'm a little nervous to live up to the standards that you guys have brought. Man, you guys have had some awesome episodes with some people.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I feel like so easy to reach out to them, and then sometimes the frustrating thing is people have so much going on with themselves, so they're not trying to make us better, like they're bigger, I guess, because but the Jake Johnson one was so good in itself. Like I didn't even want, like I don't care if he like shares that, because that for me, like kind of checked off a bucket list item for myself to talk to somebody that I've been a fan of for I don't know how many years.
I had people like, so I saw a lot of people I went to high school with yesterday because I went to this thing in Greenfield, and I had people that I hadn't seen in like 10 years coming up to me and be like, dude, I saw that you did that. That's crazy. Like, you know, so that's, you know, it's reaching at least, you know, around here. It's a big deal. I feel like it's a big deal.
Right.
And we've got a couple people coming up. I don't know if you guys have heard of James Breakwell, but he's on Twitter. He's the guy that I can't remember. It's Exploding Unicorns is his Twitter handle, but he basically talks about like his kids say stuff that's like funny, and he like writes it out in a tweet, almost like a script. Like he says, like, you know, 2-year-old says this, and then his response, and then like the 2-year-old's response, and it's always hilarious. And he said, this is exactly actually what my kids have said to me. And I didn't know he was from Indiana. Like I literally followed him from some other podcast or something a long time ago, and then I messaged him, and then I was like looking at his Twitter profile, and it said like I want to say like Southern Indiana, or like maybe even it might have been Northern Indiana, but either way, like I saw Indiana, I was like, I didn't even know this guy was in Indiana. He has 1 million followers on Twitter.
Dude,
and
kids are a gold mine when it comes to material.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like seriously, my daughter on a daily basis says the craziest shit. Like I'm just like, where did you learn that? Where did you hear that? It's like, she's so funny, dude.
Yeah.
And that's why, you know, the cool thing about ours is our son will walk in at times and right in the middle of, and we warn every guest that comes on, like our 4-year-old's here, and he may come in, he'll come in and he'll talk about something, or he'll throw the headphones on and sit down on the mic. And
see, if we had this at my house, that's exactly what would be happening, and I would be totally cool with it, because she'll just come in and say some, you know, crazy. We've talked about
need
having
to just bring her on as like an episode.
Yeah.
It would be funny to have her on and just ask her questions.
Yep.
Yeah.
What do you think about this? And like just let her go.
Like kids say the darndest things.
The other day or a couple weeks ago, we were doing a podcast, and of course he's in the house and everything, and he comes in, and a lot of times he'll come in and, you know, say something or whatever, like, and so I take my headphones off as we're, you know, Dustin's still talking and stuff, and he tells me, he said, Mom, did you know that you can go on the Disney, or if you go on a Disney cruise, that's where you can be a princess?
Yeah.
Like that's what he came in to tell me.
interrupted the whole show.
Yeah, like that's what it was. And I said, okay, good deal. You know, we'll think about that. And he's like, okay. And he left. Like he was watching TV, and that's what came up. And so he thought,
my daughter gave me material for my stand-up thing. Like she, like literally one day I was like, I love you. Like all like trying to be, she goes, you're sweaty. Like you know what I mean? Like she says like and then she'll just be like, Dad, like exactly what you're just saying. Like, Dad, did you know? And then just tell me some like stuff and then when you try to tell her, like she'll say something that's not correct, and then I'm like, no, actually, and she's like, no, Dad.
Yeah.
Nope. Yeah. That's not correct. I'm sorry.
I love how mischievous she is.
Oh, she looks like she's up to something.
Because she legit is. Like when we were in the back, like driving to the stand-up comedy, she was sitting next to me in the car seat and just like talking like, yeah, like we're gonna like
yeah, like,
and I was like, no,
she's like plotting.
Yeah, I was like, what are you talking? And she's like, yeah, like you're not gonna get this, okay? And like was like just doing stuff with her bag. I was like, oh my god,
yeah, she's super sneaky. Like she'll take things and like I'll be like, you cannot bring this into wherever. We'll walk inside and she'll like hide it on herself, and then she'll be like, and then she'll just go, Dad, and like show me that she has it. I'm like, you little shit.
It's even worse because she's like rubbing it in that she got it past you. That reminds me. Have you guys seen The Quiet Place?
Oh yeah, I have.
I can't say it then because it's gonna. I mean, it's the very beginning.
Spaceship.
Of the movie. Yeah. Anyways, I'll save that, and then if you guys want to know more about it, I'll tell you. So we got through that. So I have a question which is completely off topic, but I went and picked up food for my coworkers the other day. A couple of different stories about this. First of all, one day I picked up Fazoli's, and I walked up to the counter. I was getting ready to pay for this meal. It was like $60 or $70 for my like whole entire staff. And the lady's like, oh, it's on me. And I was like, what? And I didn't have to wait or anything. Like I literally walked in and was getting ready to pay. No, it's on me. I just feel like doing what I want to do today. And I was like, okay. And I was like, so I started looking around. I noticed there was 0 cars in the parking lot. It's a Fazoli's on like near downtown in like a pretty like bad area. Yeah. That's probably why she's giving it away. She's like, you came all the way here for Zoli's?
We've not seen a visitor in 3 years.
Yeah, so we're just gonna go ahead and give it to you. And then I was gonna. We have a special day. It's donuts and denim. So we're trying to like donate to a cancer fundraiser type situation. So I picked up some donuts, and when I was picking up the donuts, I immediately thought about this and texted Shane, and I said, top 3 donut types. So not like necessarily the brand, like not Krispy Kreme or Dunkin' Donuts or whatever like that. It's literally, what are your top 3 donut types? And I can go first because I know exactly off the top of my head what they are because I've written them down. Number 1's Long John. The chocolate covered Long John, if it's filled with whipped cream, not like that like weird like yogurty cream, like that's not that good, but whipped cream would like put that above number 1 if that's possible. And then number 2, chocolate covered chocolate cake donut. And then number 3, cinnamon twist donuts. Those are my top 3. I don't feel like I can get any better than that. And donuts are my biggest weakness. Like I can usually turn down almost any sweet if somebody's like, hey, you want some candy or you want some like chocolate or something like that. Most of the time I'd be like, nah, I don't really care. Like, you know, whatever. If somebody shows up with some donuts, I'm eating at least 4 of them every time.
I brought donuts that one time, remember?
Yeah,
from
and I ate those all
the
of them.
Sweet Shop.
Best donuts.
Have you guys ever been to Sweet Shop?
It's in Greenfield.
It's a spot in Greenfield that I've been going to since a long time, since I was a kid. And they open at like 3:30 in the morning, 4 o'clock. And we used to stay up at night and then go there at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning.
And we used to go before we did Friday football, like walkthroughs in the morning before school started. We used to go in the morning and like talk to the old guys about football. Like that was some of the like most fun times ever.
Yeah, it's a great place. Staple in my childhood for sure. What's your guys' favorite donuts?
Mine would be, and I've only recently found it, but there's a donut shop in Salem, Indiana. It's kind of the same thing, small. They make so many, and once their hours are open to when they run out, and it's over.
That's awesome.
Cool, yeah.
But they have a peanut butter and jelly donut.
Oh my God, I bet that's awesome.
It is grape jelly filled with like this peanut butter glaze over top of it, and it is by far the greatest donut I've ever had.
That might overtake one of these top 3 if I ever try
good.
it.
It's interesting.
Dude, I am all about some peanut butter. Peanut butter, anything.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's like a 40-minute drive, and there'll be random days in the summer that we'll be home, and I'll look at Kallie and I go, "You want to go get donuts?"
Like if I was a dog, I would be Kong peanut butter dog. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
What's your favorite donut?
I would have.
Or do you not really like donuts?
No, I like donuts. Donuts are definitely a good thing for me, or not a good thing for me. Yes. I like them too much, but I would have to kind of go with the Long Johns. I don't like the custard filled.
Yeah, same.
I'm definitely with the cream, so I'm with you there. But I do like the filled ones, and I even like, which I guess I should say too. I didn't realize until I don't know at some point here, like this year, like recently. I'd never been to like an actual Krispy Kreme store.
Yeah.
Like I've just always gotten them like in the gas stations.
Right.
And so I didn't really realize that existed, I guess. And we were down in Clarksville here, I don't know, at some point, and Dustin was like, "Oh, let's go get some donuts, like just the regular, glazed donuts."
Because the sign was on. And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "Well, I mean, number one, it's cool that there's an actual store."
Yeah.
And like we went and got the warm, glazed donuts, and that was my first experience. And I mean, like, so that was awesome. I mean, that was great.
If you guys notice from my top 3 list, I like stuff that's not very messy. So I'm not a big fan of glazed donuts.
Is that also with food too? Like in general, like ribs or something?
Oh yeah, like so
or bone-in wings with lots of sauce.
Bone-in wings I love. But the thing is like servers hate me because like I'm like constantly cleaning my hands off after almost every wing because I don't like it being all over.
See,
my
I'm
hand.
the way. I just go get really, really messy and then go to the bathroom and like rinse out my beard.
Well, and it's funny because even burgers that are like super messy burgers, like it's almost like I'm taking on a challenge every time, because I'll pick it up and I don't want to like put it down and then have to have dirty hands. So I'll like literally hold it and eat it the entire time.
I for sure go places and like based off how I'm feeling, I'm like, I don't really want anything messy. I don't want to be sitting there like trying to put the burger back together. So sometimes I'll just get something like boneless wings. I feel like that's easy. They go right in my mouth.
Yeah.
Right in my mouth hole.
I would rather have bone-in wings, but I'm the same way. There's this like, oh man, I got to go to something after this. I'll just get boneless tonight because I can be clean.
Especially if you're wearing that tie. Probably like
dip it in there.
Flip it over your shoulder.
Okay, so being from where you guys are at, it's kind of like a little bit more like southern Indiana, correct? So what's your kind of like your go-to places? Do you have some really good restaurants around you that you're a big fan of?
Don't say Applebee's.
That was one of the best things that came out of the Smugcast episode with us. Was their Applebee's trip. We go down. I mean, we'll go down to Clarksville because we're right there on the interstate, so we can jump to Clarksville, Louisville, that area. But you know, we've got some really good local pizza places, and I'm a big pizza guy.
Me too, dude.
Any kind of pizza.
I'm a pizza connoisseur. Seriously, I love. Ask my girlfriend; she'll tell you my favorite foods: pizza, sandwiches, and sushi. You probably don't like sushi, but
you know, I've only tried sushi a few times.
Pizza and sandwiches are like such broad.
Yeah, but it's so many.
That's your favorite.
There's so many possibilities. You can make a sandwich out of. You know what I mean? Like rye bread. Like you go all through the breads, and then you go all through the different kinds of meats.
Yeah.
And then all the crazy possibilities that you can put on
hot, cold.
Yeah, it's like, dude, my thing lately has been like pressed like panini.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my freaking god, I love sandwiches.
See, I'm right there with you. I think I would say sandwiches are right there on my list too. I mean,
but it's funny. Like, what's your favorite sandwiches? Like, it just doesn't sound like it fits in the.
So yeah, we got some good pizza places. We got a really good wood-fired one in the town where I work.
Nice.
They brought in this oven from Italy and
nice.
set it all up, and it's a really really good pizza. But then we'll go down. Like I said, Clarksville and those areas. There's some good ones down there. Some little breweries, New Albanians down there,
nice.
Pizza Company and brewery, and that's really good. So there's several around there, but we don't frequent the chains as much.
See, I mean, I think I'm on the same page as you. I will tell my wife, like, we can go anywhere you want, just not Fazoli's, Applebee's. Like,
I do this, and she'll be like, what do you want?
Olive Garden.
She's like, where do you want to go? I'm like, I don't care, literally. She'll be like, all right, let's go here. I'm like, I don't want to go there. And then she's like, well, what about, I'm like, no, I don't want to go there either.
Yeah.
So she's like, where do you want to go then? I was like, I don't want to pick. So I'm just like, I'm that person.
You're my wife, actually. That's weird.
You know, when they ask you, have you heard that joke that's like, where do you want to go? I don't, like, you should name a restaurant. I don't care.
So another thing that I just thought of since we were talking about pizza, what are your guys' thoughts on cold pizza? Because PTO Unlimited podcast, one that I listen to on a regular basis, like I said, I have a freaking queue of them that I try to keep up on. Their most recent episode, they were talking about how two of the members refuse to eat cold pizza. They always warm it up.
I know which one of them is.
Yeah, it's not Brett.
Oh, really?
No, Brett is the one who's down for cold pizza.
I was going to say, he goes against the grain on just about everything.
So then Josh and Alex both are, they say they always heat it up. They're like, there's no way that even, because I, in my mind, immediately thought, cold pizza is great when I wake up in the morning, I'm walking around in my underwear on like a Sunday, and I don't want to spill stuff all over the place or like even have to worry about stretchy cheese or anything like that. I just eat it, and it's just as good as it is warmed up.
I've beat the system. Here's what you do. You eat a cold piece of pizza while you're warming up to other piece of pizza. So you get the best of both worlds. You got one, and then you're already kind of. You get the smallest.
They're gonna listen to this, and it's gonna be like the head explosion.
Yeah, but you get the smallest piece, so you're not. You're just kind of getting your
gnawing on it.
just getting a little something while you're waiting for it. Yeah. And then you get the hot pieces after you got the cold piece done.
See, I'm all about cold pizza, so that's actually what I had for breakfast this morning.
See?
So
there it is.
For me, it's like two different things. I mean, they're equally just as good.
Yeah.
The fresh warm pizza is one thing, but then it gets better as it sits in the refrigerator. I can pull it out the next morning.
Just like lasagna.
Yes.
Lasagna.
Sometimes pizza's even better than the first time it was heated up if you put it in the oven again after it's already been cold and
a little crispy.
Oh, dude.
So then this led me to think about, because I knew I was going to ask this on this podcast, cold wings, because wings are my favorite food. So there's times that I'm literally, like I said, I'll wake up on a Sunday hungover and I'm like, I'm too lazy to even put these wings in the microwave. I'm just going to eat them. And I love them every time. Yeah. They're still good.
Wings don't really microwave well.
No.
But if you
once again,
put them in the oven,
yeah, you can definitely crisp them up.
I eat about everything cold that comes out of the refrigerator.
We're on the same page.
I think it came back to exactly what you just said. As soon as I find something and I'm like, gosh, I could heat this up, but that's like a whole nother step. And it's going to be like 5 minutes.
Like it could like explode in the microwave or something.
I'm going to eat it straight out of the container, cold, right now.
We're all about utility.
I just thought of something kind of strange. You guys might think this is stupid, but it's weird that we put another animal's like dead body parts into a thing that heats it up, and they're like their bones are in, you know what I'm saying? That's just weird to me. I just thought of it because I was thinking of like what happens to the bones in the microwave while they're being, like, if anything happens to them if they get too heated to a certain temperature. I know this is a super weird thought, but I don't know. That's weird to me.
I could tell you were in deep thought right there.
I was like, man.
You were kind of looking at me, and I'm like, I'm just talking about eating cold leftovers. So I knew there was something coming.
I think about weird shit.
So the last podcast that you guys did, you had Taylor and what was the girl's name?
Kelsey.
So you had Taylor and Kelsey on, and you guys played the newlywed game a little bit. What I was interested in, how did you guys feel about how that went? Do you guys feel like you know each other way better than them? But I guess also at the same time, they're kind of, they are newlyweds. You guys have been married for how long?
6 years.
6 years. So you guys should win that game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I honestly, I thought we did better than what I even would have expected us to. Yeah. So, I mean, we hit on a lot of things I didn't know that we would.
Well, what's hilarious is I was like, while I was listening to that, I was thinking, I don't think I know this about my wife. Like, I have no idea what her favorite show is because we watch so many shows together, and then she watches so many shows by herself, and I have my shows that are like my shows, and I don't share them.
Nicole
so I have
is
no idea.
Handmaiden's Tale or whatever. Is that what it's called?
Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah.
But like, is that her favorite all time? Like,
or anything with lots of black people in it? I don't know what it is. She likes, I mean, it's just a fact.
The reason I'm laughing is just the description, but I think I know what you're talking about. Like no, Power, like one of those like shows.
Loves it. Anything with like a mostly black cast. She loves it.
Is there? What do you think is like behind that? Like, I'm not saying like
She's
we're getting into like a weird
super
place.
into black dudes, and doesn't want to tell anybody. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I think she really likes R&B too. Like we'll accidentally get on like the like real smooth, like, hey baby, like that kind of like real smooth R&B stuff, and she's like, don't change it. I'm like, really?
Pretty Ricky.
Probably. I don't know who that is, but
I'll play it for you later.
Pretty Ricky.
Oh yeah, you'll love it. Probably not actually.
Dude, that's a big standard to live up to. What if like you get older and you're not looking as good as you used to? You're not Pretty Ricky anymore.
Right. You're
average. Average Ricky.
That's what I was. He beat me to it.
Subpar Ricky.
He beat me to it. Both of you guys.
Or just Ricky.
So
that's Ricky again.
What I wanted to get into with asking about that. First of all, I want to say, Taylor, you're making it harder out there for other guys because you're trying to do all these like really romantic gestures. I feel like, I don't know, Shane's done some romantic gestures as well, haven't you? Like gone out of your way to do something.
Oh yeah. I mean, I always usually make a really big deal out of her birthday. I always do something really special. Like I took her to Brown County one year, like we were going just on a hike, but then I had like a hotel there, and then we went to the brewery that's down there. I've taken her, I'll just randomly bring her flowers every once in a while, just because I know. I mean, it's just, I think that's.
Did you listen to their most recent episode? Though?
I didn't. No.
So this guy Taylor takes his lady to ask her to marry him, when he set up like the points for the photographer to take pictures of them, but she didn't know about the photographer. Like, so he like literally set down like stickers on the ground of like, this is where we're gonna be. So I want you to be here so that you can take the pictures. Like,
oh wow,
dude, that's like
Well,
he's already going to beat me. Like I'm not even close.
Well,
to
when I
do that.
proposed to Nicole, I did it in Brown County again, but they have like this lookout thing that you go up on top of it, and it was like I was like, I planned it I was like, okay, I couldn't wait because we were gonna go to Colorado in like 2 months, and I could have just done it on top of like a mountain.
Yeah.
Instead, I was like, I got to do it. Like I just can't. I'm not one of those.
Can't wait.
So we go up on this lookout. It's like the shittiest day, like gloomy, windy, cold, and I'm like, well, I'm still gonna do it. So we like walk up there, and I run to the top of the thing to try to like get set up there, get there ahead of time, and then I set my phone on record, and then so I have this video that's just like me halfway out of the picture, like my leg, and then it's me proposing, but you can't really tell what's going on. And like
you didn't set your what is it? What do they call that in mark? Like, yeah, you didn't set your mark correctly.
No, and I was like, it was like, and then she was like, I don't know, it could have been a lot better, but I tried to be. I think it's the thought that counts. But.
See, that's what like I wanted to tell you guys. Like I was the worst. Like I chickened out because I took her to a restaurant, one of the first restaurants we went to when we moved to Fort Wayne together. Took her there, and I was like, I'm gonna ask her here. But then like I saw everybody like around me, and I was like, dude, I don't want this to be like everybody else's thing. I want this to be my thing. And also I was super nervous because I'm just like I don't get nervous about almost anything except for stuff that has had to do with my wife. So when we got through dinner, and she was like, what's funny is we still talk about it to this day. She was like, I thought you were going to ask me at dinner. I totally thought you were going to. But then we got back to our apartment, and then I was like, you know what? I just have to do it. So I went out onto our balcony and was like, did the whole like asking her or whatever. But the problem is she found the ring before I was going to ask her. So it was like extremely frustrating because she's ruined almost every surprise that I've ever tried to.
You're not a very good hider.
Try to do. Well, I put it in a drawer of my old work scrubs that I was like, she's never going to go in this drawer. But she apparently washed some sweatpants or something and like was putting them in there. That's the story I hear.
I put hers in, I have a suit that I wear to weddings, and it's in a plastic.
Oh, that's a good move.
I put it in the pocket of the suit in the closet, and no one touches it ever. So I was like,
that's a good move.
Yeah.
So when you said that you knew you couldn't wait 2 more months to do it, are you like when you buy presents, you have to give them a cent?
I tell her all the time.
He's the same as me.
I tell her all the time. I'm like, I got you something, or like, I know in my head if I wait, the surprise will be so much better.
Oh,
Doesn't matter. I'm like, I'll like, she won't even ask for hints, and I'll be like, it's kind of like she's not even like, I'm giving it away before because I'm so excited to give it to her. I'll go get her flowers and I'll bring them to her immediately. You know what I mean? Like wherever she's at, I'm like, shoo, like
yeah.
Kallie gets so mad at me because I'll order something and I don't wrap anything. It'll still be in the Amazon box that it came from. I'm like, I got you something. You need to. She's like, my birthday's not for another week. I'm like, I don't care. It's here.
I know.
It's here.
That's the worst is like birthday and Christmas and that kind of stuff. I mean, like to where he'll get me something, and I mean, and I don't know. Like he always, and I'm like, no, I'm one. I've almost given up anymore, because like when we first got married or were together and everything, and I'm like, no, it's not my birthday. I'm not opening it, until my birthday.
Wow.
I'm like, cause I don't want it. Like, I mean, I do obviously, but, but I mean, like, I'm like, no, I don't, I'd rather just wait. And anymore, it's just like, here it is. I mean, he just gives it to me. I don't think he asks anymore. And like I said, I've kind of given up, but.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we were, like I said, you guys did the newlywed game. So is there anything, and I don't want this to be like something that stirs up like trouble, but is there anything that you think that you have about you that they don't know about? So like something that you have done or been a part of, or like anything that the other person doesn't know about? Because I feel like you guys are, I mean, you've been together, married 6 years, but together however much longer than that. Yeah. Is there anything that you don't think that they don't know about you?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
And that's kind of just who I am. I mean,
like you didn't play in like a weird ska band back in the day, and she doesn't know you like played bass for
dreads.
That'd be such a better podcast episode if I was like, actually, here's the deal. I did musical theater for several years.
Yeah.
It was off Broadway.
Jazz hands. Just see you like.
No, I think we're pretty upfront and honest with each other all the time. And I mean, even like in things in the past and things that I did and was a part of, I'm pretty upfront with her.
Yeah.
Right.
And most of my friends are that way too. So I think that we all just kind of telling ourselves, I guess.
Right. I think it's interesting because like Jen and I feel like we communicate so much, but also I'm not I don't want to know about much before we're together. So like I don't because it doesn't matter to me. Like we weren't together then, so whatever. Like
also,
whatever.
it just causes problems as soon as you talk about ex-boyfriends and all that stuff. All it does is there's no sense in talking about it because it just like you said, it like stirs up stuff that doesn't need to even be. Because I don't know how other relationships with jealousy and whatnot, but like as soon as she says, oh, like we'll run into a guy or something and she'll be like, oh, good to see you, and I'm like, did you used to date that guy? And she was like, I'm kind of, and I'm like, I need to know everything. Like, and then I don't.
Then it eats at you.
Yeah, it bothers me. So
and so with Jen and I though, like going back to you being funny and you thinking she's funnier and you thinking he's funnier, Jen is one of those people that just has like these gems. Like she just says something that I just died laughing, rolling on the ground laughing. And she's somebody that would consider herself not funny, not like she would say she was shy and stuff like that. But man, I'm telling you, she'll say stuff that it will blow my mind, and I'm like, that's hilarious. And then at the same time, she does some stuff where she'll say words that almost kind of like George Bush, where she like makes up her own word for something.
Facilitate.
Yeah, where she'll make up her own word for something, and I know what she's getting at.
Yeah.
But then I give her crap for it because I'm like, do you know what you just said? Like, did you realize that?
You kind of do that to me too.
Yeah.
I say like the wrong word or don't pronounce it right, and he's like, you mean this.
But do you guys have any quirks of things that you guys correct each other on or do something like that?
Kallie has one of Callie's best stories is, and she'll get like, to where she's stuck on something, she can't think of it, and she talks too much sometimes. Like instead of just staying quiet and no one will know that she doesn't know it, she tries to talk it out. And the funniest one I think I ever had was one day she looked at me and she goes, "Okay, what do you call those places? It's like a zoo but for fish." And I go,
I couldn't think of the word.
I love that description.
I could not think of it. But he makes fun of me like
so
for
good.
that specific one all the time. But I'm like, anytime you say that, like everyone knows
exactly
what it is.
what you're talking about.
I said, so it was a very good description.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
that.
everybody knows exactly what I'm talking about. I'm like, I just could not think of the word. I could not think of the word.
Who says we can't say like,
Zoo for
we're going to the fish zoo today?
Yeah, I know, right? They have to have a specific word for it. But so, like, that's where he makes fun of me all the time, where I'll start telling a story and like in my head, out loud, I start telling it, but in my head, I haven't like fully thought through the story of, like the ending or, just in general. Cause I'm like, yeah, but I can't really remember what they said. Like, but it was really funny, and he's like, yeah, good story, and I'm like, yeah, I probably should have just thought of that and been like, yeah, I can't remember the whole thing. So I probably shouldn't even start it.
it was a few months ago, and she's like, "Hey, I heard there's 2 new restaurants going into Seymour," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, really? What?" And she goes, "I don't remember."
But there's 2 new restaurants.
She's like, "I know, I read it in the paper." I said, "Where are they going in at?" I don't know.
I don't remember that either, but I just remember being really excited that there's new restaurants coming
I'm like,
down.
next time, just don't even
He was
bring
like,
that
why
part up.
wouldn't you like just figure that out before you told me?
You don't have time. You don't have time to figure that.
I don't, because I'm like, oh yeah, I thought about, we talked about this at school today, and
So I have somebody that I think would beat both of you guys in that situation. My friend, and I hope that they don't listen, but it's hilarious. So they had a Christmas tree, a live Christmas tree. They put it in their front room, had all the water and everything. And we were at I want to say it was like a New Year's Eve party because they still had their Christmas tree. Like they were keeping it alive. They weren't taking it down yet. And she told us all that when they were done, they were going to go plant it in the front yard. And all of us just started like, wait, what did you just say? Like, you're going to...
the best.
oh my
That's so good.
She's one of those people that she is one of the smartest people that I've ever met in my life. But she says some of the dumbest, ridiculous things that you've ever heard in your entire life.
Yeah. It's crazy how some people just don't have a grip on like the reality of some things. Like perfect example, like 90% of the public knows that once you cut down a tree, that shit's not going back in the ground.
It can, but it won't survive.
You're just gonna have this dead ass tree and you're like kind of tilted to the right a little bit. But it's weird how like I'm sure I don't know certain things that like a lot of people know, but in my mind it just didn't connect when. That's hilarious to me. Though.
I just like died laughing.
I know, and the best part is when you're like, "Wait a minute, what did you say?" Hold on, stop. What?
Was that a real statement?
Yeah.
Like, you really thought that?
Some of my favorite things at the high school that I work at is, and it'll happen 3 or 4 times a year, and it's always an honors kid. They'll get their driver's license and they'll pull in, they'll park, and they'll get nervous. And about 2 or 3 hours into school, I'll get a call from one of our custodians. They'll be like, "Mr. Roller, parking spot 57. The car is still running with the keys locked inside."
Oh my gosh.
That's so crazy.
I do stuff like I've
3 times a year.
Have you ever went and got paid for gas, got in your car and drove away? Without getting the gas. I've done that.
My God.
Yeah. And then I'm like, oh shit, I have to hurry up and go back so no one goes there and uses the gas I just paid for.
Holy cow.
I'm so like in my head sometimes where I'm just like my body's just doing what, like going through the motions, but I'm not really paying attention to what I'm doing because I'm so deep into whatever I'm thinking about.
Sandwiches.
Like
sandwiches and pizza.
Or traditional wings inside of the microwave. And that's weird to me. But it's crazy that like you go on like what's it called, autopilot, where you're just like moving.
Well, and what's funny about that is on your episode you were talking about Taylor locked his keys in his car, and then on the Smugcast we played Never Have I Ever last night. Never have I ever locked my keys in my car ever in my life. I've never done that ever, because I'd always remember to get them out. Like I've never done that.
I don't think I have either. I've had other people. I had my truck detailed last summer, and the guy called and he's like, "I just locked your keys in your truck."
Yeah.
And I had my app for
to unlock it.
Yeah, so I could unlock it from the house.
Cool.
I'm like, thank goodness I don't want to drive extra keys up there. But
I never did that.
I locked my keys in my car one time, and I looked up on YouTube how to get it out, and they had this like the tennis ball with a hole in it. And you put it up to the hole and you hit the tennis ball and the air shoots it and locks it up.
That's crazy.
It doesn't work. It might on certain cars, and it works in the YouTube video, but I'm out there like drilling a hole inside of a tennis ball looking like an idiot. My dad's like, "What are you doing?" And he like pulls out he has an actual, what do they call them?
Slim Jims.
Yeah, and just pops her. I'm like, okay.
My wife in college left her car or locked her keys in her car with it running, and it ran till it ran out of gas.
Oh, really?
Because she like couldn't get anybody there in time.
Yeah.
So it just ran for 6 hours.
This is all stuff that like it sounds great, but I put like I'm spacing out so hard. I'll put the milk in the cabinet. Like
I've done things like that.
Like I'm not paying attention. I'm just thinking, and I'm like just kind of like making coffee, and I'll do stuff all the time where I'll like do the steps to making coffee wrong because I'm like just waking up, and I'm like, so I'll like pour the grinds in there, put it in, and not put any water in it, and then just turn it on, and it starts making all these weird noises because it doesn't have water in it. I just do all kinds of weird shit like that.
I'd say mine is when I go to take a shower in the morning. That's when I'm like trying to get everything together for the day and everything, and obviously I shave my head, so this sounds funny, but when my hair comes out a little bit, I'll be like, did I wash my hair? Like I'll get out and I'm like, I don't know if I did or not. Like, did I do all the steps of the shower that I was supposed to? Like, it's just like, it's such a simple thing, but I just get in the shower and I'm kind of like spacing out, and then I'm like, I don't know if I just did. Maybe I just got in and let the water run on me, and then I got out. So, yeah, I understand that.
So, with the kids locking their keys in their car, is it because they're nervous about school, or is it driving?
I think it's both. I think our honors kids, they get really worked up about, especially the first time they drive and being late to class, and those kind of things. And I think it's just that. I think they get there, they get all their stuff, they hit the door locks, they shut the door, and they head on in, and the car's still sitting out there running.
That's crazy.
And it's always an honors kid. Wow. So you got to walk into like AP calculus and be like, hey, your car's running in the parking lot.
It's crazy that there's kind of something to be said about people that don't care as much, that their life is probably a little smoother in terms of like not doing that kind of stuff because they're not worried about it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then these people that actually do care and are getting good grades and worried about getting to class on time are messing everything up.
Yeah.
Well, and it's just funny because I always talk about how I feel like my awareness of some of the stuff with like Shane and like him watching people like make his food and things like that, I don't pay attention to that. But like little stuff, I know I don't ever forget about because I came upon the realization that I needed to start creating like habits for myself. So I never, because I used to lose stuff all the time, keys, wallet, cell phone, all the time when I was younger, and I had to like start making like a habit. Like this is always going to be on my nightstand at the end of the night, no matter what. And if I'm drunk, my keys, my wallet, my cell phone need to be on my nightstand. Don't care.
But the bad thing about that is you got
when you don't,
or you have a wife that will move your shit, and I'll put my stuff exactly where I want it, and then I'll be like, where is it? She's like, oh, I put it away, or I did this with it, or because I'm one of those people where every single night I lay out all my clothes for the next day. I put all my keys, my sunglasses, my wallet all in this little like pile. So it's like in the morning I can just like, I'm almost ready to go because all I gotta do is brush my teeth, you know, put my clothes on, put all that shit in my pocket and go out the door. But she'll move stuff around and I'll be like looking for something all morning long.
My wife covers my stuff up. Her stuff always goes on top of my stuff. We just had this discussion yesterday.
Yeah.
Wherever she needs to stack stuff. Like Thursday, I walked out and she's like, "You're not wearing a tie today?" And I said, "No, I couldn't find the tie that goes with this shirt." Then, like last night, I moved some of her clothes and I'm like, "Oh, there's my tie. It's underneath here." So,
It's not on purpose. That just happens to be where I lay stuff, I guess.
right.
Yeah.
So talking about those kids, this is something that once again we talked about it before the podcast started, which is, you know, it may not be as timely as when I read the story, but Fortnite tutors. Have you guys heard of this?
No.
So there's apparently parents out there that are paying tutors to get their kids better at Fortnite because kids and parents are starting to realize that there's money to be made from this, like a professional sport. So how do you feel about that? Because I know that we're not super far away in age, and I just think it's insane.
What a time to be alive.
Yeah,
It's weird as shit.
it really is.
The whole esports thing, even though I like video games and I've played them my whole life growing up, but the whole like esports thing is like crazy to me. I can't figure it out. But I think I told you this story when you were on our show with us, but I had a kid one day in the cafeteria and I walked by him and he was watching videos of somebody playing a video game. And I go, I don't understand it. And I was talking to him. I said, that doesn't seem fun to me at all. And he had the greatest response. He turned back around and he goes, "You like football, don't you?" And I said, "Yeah, I love football." He goes, "You watch other people play that game and you don't just go play the game." And I go, "Oh yeah, fair enough." Right.
That's exactly right.
And I'm like, "But they're a lot better than me. That's why they're more entertaining to watch." And he goes, "They're a lot better than me here." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, fair enough." But it's crazy to me, the money that has been pushed into it. I mean, these NBA teams all have their own, NBA 2K franchise. And so I can't imagine me wanting to pay for my son to get better at Fortnite.
Right.
Well, I mean, my buddy is he's a Twitch streamer. His name's Live Game. If anybody's into Twitch that's watching this or listening to this, and he legit will be just playing and somebody will just donate money like right there on the spot and you can see it. I was watching him and somebody donated $75. 2 minutes later, the same person, another $75. Like at the end of this like 10 minutes I was watching him, I think he gained like $475 just from people just donating money, which I'm just like, I don't understand how people have that much disposable income, first of all, because that's ridiculous to me. Second of all, I don't get it. Like, I mean, I'm not a part of that group, I guess. I like to play video games too. Like I like to play, we've been getting into Rory McIlroy, the golf game, which is like the laziest game I feel like in the world because you're literally sitting back on your couch drinking a beer and you're just flicking a stick back and forth. And like, that's what you're just hoping for the best. Like it's not like, it's really an interesting
like
video game.
Candy Crush. That's one of the most like mind-numbing. And Nicole will play it while she's just sitting there and like she's like, that's how she unwinds. Just play some Candy Crush.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's kind of like, I think we're all in on the fact that the tutors are a strange thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess my thing was, and I guess every new thing, I guess, is this happens to, but like, is this going to continue when these kids are like 40 years old that they can still make a living on
and
Fortnite?
And that's what the news article talking about the Fortnite tutors was saying was these parents and kids are realizing, because esports is very similar to any kind of like athletic sport, your fast or your reaction times lower. So like if you're going to be very competitive and very good, you have from probably the time that you're 17 till about like I think 17 to 30, those are your prime times that you can be the best at the game. So that's why they are like literally investing into somebody to teach somebody to get better at it.
But I'll be honest,
and the tutors are a lot of the tutors are people that have been professional gamers, but they're in their like 35 to 40 range. So they're the ones teaching the kids how to play. It's weird. It's wild.
But right with that, I think the whole, like the youth baseball and travel baseball and the thousands upon thousands of dollars the parents spend now to travel and play youth sports, that's crazy to me too.
Right.
I mean, I grew up, you played at your local school, you played at the park, you played in your rec league, you maybe had an all-star team, but I mean, there's people around us that, I mean, they're taking their kid to the north side of Indianapolis, so, an hour and a half drive 3 times a week to play on a team. That's just that's crazy to me too.
The only reason I can see why one of them's healthier than the other is like one is it's an active, like you're playing baseball, you're out there, playing with teammates that you're actually physically there with, and you're doing something that's active. And parents are all about their kids being active and doing something that having a hobby that they enjoy and they're outdoors and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's fair.
As opposed to a kid that's playing video games is inside all day doing what parents like that old everyone's like, get outside and play, like that. Basically they're just sitting inside playing video games all day.
What's funny about the argument that comes back from that is they have 40,000 people that they're interacting with every day because they have 40,000 people watching them. That's
why I made sure that I said physically.
Yeah,
because exactly. I know that they're definitely,
and it's got to be weird interactions.
I mean,
it can't all be positive.
People have friends on through that. I'm sure James has all those friends that he's probably never even met a lot of these people, but he's good friends with them because he plays
from other countries.
Yep.
Just hanging out and playing games with them.
Our 4-year-old got a Switch, and he got the Splatoon game, which is like a paintball game, but it's like a multiplayer thing. And my brother-in-law was over, and he does a lot of online gaming, and he looked down and he goes, "Do you know he's playing online with other people?" And I was like, "No, I had no idea. He just plays the game." And he goes, "It just made me realize when I get so frustrated because there's somebody I'm playing with that's not doing anything correctly, it could be a 4-year-old child just running around." So he's on this team with like 3 other people that are real serious, and my son's just running around shooting paint in the air,
shooting random stuff, or he'll like go get his milk or go to the bathroom and like
set it down.
Yeah.
So good.
I like Call of Duty to see that guy that's like
running in
a
circles.
circle or like camping. People hate campers. They're just like in the bush. It's probably some guy that went to the bathroom, but he's just wanting to put his guy in a bush so no one kills him.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think the generation that we kind of talked about before Shane got here and before the podcast, like the generation in competition, like, I mean, we talked about how there's not a lot of like, I feel like cutthroat killer mentality with competition in sports anymore, with kids anyways.
Yeah, I know we talked before. I think the same thing, and maybe it's because I'm not seeing them do these kind of things,
right.
These video games and things.
Maybe they're super killer instinct on Fortnite.
And that could be. But, when you look at kids like
I just texted you accidentally.
You look at kids in athletics and things like that, they don't have that element anymore. It's that I see, that they want to really embarrass somebody and they want to put on a show. But like I said, maybe in the E-world they do.
Yeah.
I definitely think that getting away from, like giving everybody a trophy, you know how we've had that conversation, it's been in the news and everything. I definitely think there's something about that I don't like. You have to be taught how to be, it's important to be good at something, and you stand out because you put in a lot of work and you are good. And those like getting a trophy and stuff doesn't feel as good if the guy next to you got a trophy and he didn't do shit. So.
Well, and I was telling Dustin before the podcast started, I said, I think that there's a possibility that if kids do have that mentality of like wanting to be a winner, wanting to excel, it's going to be almost easier for them to get above it and get to the top than it was like maybe when, and this might just be us being old men, but as when we were kids. Because when I was a kid, I remember every single person that I played football with wanted to be better than me, and I wanted to be better than them. I wanted to kick their ass every single time.
But what I think is like people don't want to put, like, there might be a kid out there that's thinking about like, hey, I'm going to go play football, I'm going to be the best at it. Mm-hmm. There's going to be less of that because you're not getting as many you're not being rewarded the same way you would be as in the past, where like if you're really good at something, you're going to get
the adoration of everybody.
Yeah, and rewarded for the time and the all the stuff that you put into it. But it's like I don't want to go do all that, put all that work in if the guy next to me is going to get the same trophy I got.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's the normal thought process.
And I think one thing too is that kids have so many more options now. That's like even with the e-gaming and all the different things they can get into. kids try different things a lot more than, like, when I grew up, you played baseball, basketball, or football. Like, there was no, I mean,
maybe soccer.
Maybe you didn't go to, like, I mean, we got kids that are in hockey clubs and rugby clubs and you know, all this that was never available in the small town I grew up in. You played those three sports or you didn't.
You didn't play anything,
right?
And then you were on the outside because you didn't.
I pole vaulted in high school.
I still can't believe this. Like I still, every time you tell me, I try to imagine you doing it.
We were one of the only schools. I mean, there was a lot of schools that had it, but a lot of times we go to a track meet and they wouldn't. Their team, or we'd go to. I'm not sure what it's called when it's like a bunch of teams at a track meet.
Invitational.
Yeah, like an invitational type thing, and there would just be teams that weren't doing it because they didn't have a pole vault team. But I just thought it was kind of weird that I wanted to do something that, you know, like it looked cool, like, you know, and no one else was doing it, and getting good at something that no one else is good at. And that's kind of the way I saw it when I started doing it.
The first school that I coached at, Evansville Harrison, one of the greatest pole vaulters I ever saw. We had a Russian foreign exchange student that came there one year, and his whole family were circus performers.
Oh my gosh.
And like, he had never done it before, but he came out and he's like, oh, I'm going to try that. And he was like unbelievable at it because, I mean,
So
it was
straight natural athlete.
Yeah, all our kids were like, man, we work at this all the time. And
I hated those kids that would try something one time and be like, yeah, I guess I'm kind of good at this. I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah, so I don't know. I've always kind of picked up things, but I never really tried anything like pole vaulting or anything like that. But like, you know, throwing a football, playing basketball was always kind of like one of those things that was kind of just natural. But I also had like a lot of cousins that were older than me that kind of showed me how to play. And then I had some stuff that I needed to fix, obviously, because my coaches were smarter than my cousins. But we talked about on my Facebook that I posted, you know, what is everybody's kind of favorite songs that are stories? And what I posted, because I was like kind of in my feelings, hanging out, you know, having some beers, and I was listening to Dispatch, which is The General, which I think counts as a story song because they kind of tell a story of the general. So I wanted to kind of go around the room and just see if anybody has off the top of their head what their favorite song that's a story, and also call out AP because Waterfalls by TLC is not a story song. I think he was trying to be funny, but you failed, AP.
I was
calling him out.
I was trying to figure it out when I saw it. I was like, does he really mean this? Or is he just trying to be funny?
So anybody can start. You can start wherever. I don't care.
Y'all go ahead.
You got one, Cal?
No, I don't think so.
I would say probably mine is Dave Matthews' The Christmas Song, where he kind of goes through the whole story of the birth of Jesus and that kind of thing, and just kind of the way he runs with that, I think, is one of my favorite kind of story songs.
That's awesome. I didn't even know that existed, so I'm going to go download that now.
Absolutely.
Kallie, you don't have one?
Gosh, I don't think so. I can't think of any.
So I need to go to the I hope I can find the Facebook post because some of them were awesome. Like, what's the one, Don't Take the Girl, the country song?
Okay, yeah.
That's like
That's a
one
good-
of my, like, that still gives me
That's
goosebumps
a good
listening to
one.
that song
Yeah,
to this
definitely.
day.
It's like, what's that? Actually, the best one I can think of, and you may have not heard it before, but it's Johnny Cash and a boy named Sue.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
We
my
talked about that last night on the Smokecast.
Great ass. That's probably my favorite story because he talks about how he gets called Sue and then he fights his dad
I like at the end, and he's like, and if I have a boy, I'm going to name him, you know, Billy or anything but Sue.
Yeah, that's a great song.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That, and I guess Folsom Prison might be kind of a bit of a,
Yeah.
you know, I shot a man in Reno, like just kind of telling us a couple different stories.
A lot of Johnny Cash's were. I mean, one piece at a time.
Yep.
You know, when he talks
Yep.
about, you know, stealing the car. Let me see. What's the Everlast song that?
I know
What
think
it's
I know.
like.
Yes.
Yeah, and he talks about. I was just thinking that, but I couldn't think of what the song was.
I was just
That's
looking
crazy.
it up because, what it's like.
So somebody
Then you really might know what it's like.
Yeah.
Yes.
Somebody threw me off really well on the post because they said "The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air" by William Smith, tearjerker, and I just
Tearjerker.
So, and then my response was, "Is this a joker for real?" And then he said, "You'll never know." And then I was like, I typed in, like, I hopped on Google, and then as I was Googling, I was like, William Smith, you idiot. Like, how did you not understand that? And I just like completely felt like a piece of crap for a little bit. But like, here's a few of them. The Hurricane by Bob Dylan.
That's a good one.
Dance with the Devil by Immortal Technique, which I don't know. I've never heard that, which I should download.
One thing about Bob Dylan is he kind of mumbles everything.
Yeah.
Is it really even a story or just him like,
Matt Schultz, Devil Went Down to Georgia.
yeah.
That's a very good one. Scott
Went Down to Georgia.
Scott Hanger posted the 3-6 Mafia, tell some endearing classics. Good job. Nicole Rawlings never responded to me, but I think I'm correct. She put Ol' Red, which is about
Yeah.
the dog, right?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
he trains
That's
to.
It's in
Blake,
Yeah.
Blake Shelton.
Yeah, he's
song.
in prison, and then he
Yeah.
That one's
that's a-
giving me goosebumps
he
just
trains-
talking about it because I remember the song.
he trains the dog or keeps going to see the girl dog, and then he rolls out of prison while the
Yeah.
dog's gone.
Corey Dawson from the Diabolical Index podcast that's part of the Magic Scroll Network. The Mariners' Revenge song, The Decemberists. Nothing?
No.
I've never heard that. I don't know about
Sounds
you guys.
good. I've heard of the Decemberists.
Paul Lungard sitting on the dock of the bay, which I'm going to call him out. Is that really a story?
I don't know that song.
Sitting on the dock of the bay
Oh.
as the clouds roll away.
How about Sky Rockets in Flight? Afternoon Delight. Oh, I got a good one. Major Tom to ground control. I'm stepping through the door. That's a story, right?
And I don't
It's
know.
like about being in space, right?
Yeah, kind of.
I don't know. This is a good song.
Matt Songer, R. Kelly trapped in the closet. Like, I don't feel like, is that a story?
I just think about it probably has to do with him peeing on somebody or
And then somebody said regulators mount up, Nate Dogg and Warren G, which I think kind of might be, that is a story because it was a cool black night.
oh yeah,
Like,
yep.
trying to consume. I don't know. I know like every third word.
I think that I want to say, is there a Carrie Underwood song that's I was the one where the two like the girls
I know,
end up
like
killing the guy or
I know.
whatever.
I think that's the Dixie Chicks, wasn't it?
Yeah, I
Earl.
know.
No,
If you-
well, that
I know
no,
that-
that's
that's
not the one
another
I think
story
that
one.
is, but
you
that's
just
not,
made me think of a really good one. Is Red
two black Cadillacs.
Red Ragtop. Have you ever heard that song where
Yes,
they have
yes,
a baby
yes.
and they get an abortion and then they see? Yeah, it's like a
Oh
country
yeah,
song.
Carrie Underwood, 2 black Cadillacs.
I think that's the title of it. I think that's the one where
Oh,
the lady,
he was cheating.
yeah, he was cheating with the other
Yeah.
girl. And
Can we just point out that every girl country song is like them breaking some part of their car or something, or like
or murdering the
Carrie
guy.
Underwood has one
yeah,
of those.
I
the
dug my keys
truck.
into the side.
Yeah.
Pretty
Or
little.
murdering him, kind of like what is it? Thunder Rolls with Garth Brooks.
Earl had to
Oh
die.
yeah.
Gosh, there's so many good ones.
Well, I think we're missing though. Shaggy, it wasn't me. If we're going to talk about the greatest story songs, I mean that's a story, and he's trying to tell a different story.
Oh yeah.
That's a whole nother level.
I think
That
that's-
Garth Brooks song where he's a semi driver and he's cheating.
Mama,
yeah.
Papa was a trucker nearly all his life.
And then the other one is the guy that he's a young man, but he would go work at the older lady's house.
Oh, yeah.
and he would he had
what is that?
He had a thing with her. That's another Garth Brooks song.
I don't know.
I know what it is. Give me just a second. Garth Brooks, older lady.
Isn't it great how you can you just type in
Oh, yeah.
some of that and usually you can find stuff or figure it out.
The Summer.
Yeah.
That's what that
Yes,
song
yes,
was.
yes.
That's a really Jen.
I do not remember that.
What's really
song.
funny is Jen and I were like, I'll play on our Amazon Alexa. I'll say, Alexa, play Garth Brooks, and it'll just like shuffle
Yeah.
all of Garth Brooks' songs. And that song came on, and we were listening to it, like doing dishes and like hanging out in the kitchen. Jen was like, "That's a really weird song.
Yeah.
Like it's weird that this older lady like is taking this 15-year-old boy and under her wing
Yeah.
and like having sex with him or something." Like
You need to listen to
it's
Red
really
Ragtop
strange.
because it's like a country song that's really good, but it's about like they eventually end up getting an abortion because they basically say we weren't ready for.
That's so weird.
And then they see each other like later on in life. It's like a deep story, but no one really listens to the words to it.
Here's another one. Have you guys seen the Freaky Friday Little Dicky video?
Yes.
That's another good
It's a
story.
very, very good one.
It's like a 7-minute song.
Oh my gosh! It's just
Or no, that's I have seen it, but there's another one that by Lil Dicky that's like a really really long song, but I can't think of what it's called. But it's like 7 minutes long.
yeah.
There's one that's it's like 13 or 14 minutes long, and it's him talking to his own brain.
That's what the song I'm talking about. Yeah,
Yeah, that's good.
yeah.
I
But the
can't
Freaky
remember what it's
Friday
called.
one is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, him and Chris Brown switching.
Oh
and-
yeah.
But before we get out of here, because we're hitting the time, to kind of tell everybody where they can find you. I know if you listen to us, you probably listen to them as well. But if you don't, tell them where to find you.
Yeah, we're on iTunes and Spotify.
See,
pretty much
we're
anywhere.
both on Spotify. What's the Smugcast doing?
I don't know. I don't know what the deal is there.
I'm coming at them hard today, I guess. I was just on their 100th episode, so
Yeah,
I feel like it's free reign.
The comments will be great here later on social media. But anywhere you can pretty much find a podcast, you can find us. Our website is mwcpodcast.com. We've got all our episodes still there. There's some information about us, and our sponsors and things like that. So go check that out. We haven't done our episode this week yet, so we'll figure that out. Probably tomorrow night we'll do one, and then our other show, Throttled Up.
Yeah, I wanted to mention that. I just literally just thought of that.
Yeah, it's always on Wednesday nights at 8. It's been a lot of fun, kind of a totally different twist from what I do normally here, but it's been a lot of fun. And
what do you guys talk about on that? I know it's Throttled Up, so it's kind of context clues, guys. Come on.
But it's all dirt track racing,
Nice.
and the guy that does it with me is the announcer at Brownstown Speedway, and we bring in drivers that race locally and talk about their lives, their sponsors. The last episode we actually did was a lot of fun. We brought in the wife of one of the drivers and the fiance of another driver, and kind of let them talk about their perspective.
That's a good idea.
And
you're a good idea, man. I swear.
I try to throw them out to you, man. I try.
It's a treasure trove.
So so it's been a lot of fun, both of them. But just and if anybody is wanting to come on and talk, we love having people on just to hang out. And thank you to both of you guys for having us up. And it was a lot of fun.
What do you guys have for the future? Anything planned that you think you're excited about? Yeah,
actually here Labor Day weekend in the small town where I'm principal at the high school. They have a big festival, and a small festival because it's a real small town, but they're doing kind of an entertainment theme this year. They're going to have some bands, some different things going on, and they ask us to actually come out, and we're going to do a set-up mobile live podcast, just interview people as they come by.
That's awesome.
So that's one we're really excited for. And then
that sounds awesome.
And where's that at again?
That's in Vernon, Indiana.
And what's it called, the festival?
It's just Labor Day, the Labor Day Festival. Yeah,
that's cool.
And then the other cool one that we had on previously, Ashley Yoder, which is the UFC fighter that I went to high school with.
That was an awesome episode. Very awesome.
She just set her next fight. It's in November for UFC Fight Nights, and so she's going to come back on and kind of talk to us about her training camp and her opponent and those kind of things.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
cool stuff.
And if she has time, she can definitely call in to us as well, because I would love to talk to her.
Yeah,
that was a great episode. That was probably one of our first actual interview type episodes.
Yeah.
Which was great.
Yeah, we're big UFC fans, almost to a fault, because a lot of times we'll talk about it and it doesn't necessarily I've been told by certain people that they don't enjoy us talking about it, but it's something that we're passionate.
Some people don't like it. Whatever.
It's something that we're passionate about, or at least I am. And
they can skip past
it.
And
I understand it to a certain extent, like what's actually going on. So, my perspective of UFC back in the day was just like people just like very like brutish, like just fighting each other, and very like bro-y, and like people wearing like UFC shirts and like always saw that. But now I have a completely different perspective of it, because I watch a lot of embedded things and like what's actually going on in the camp, and how much like it really is martial arts, because there's so much art that goes into like being able to do what those guys do. Like once you've actually tried to box or tried to do jiu-jitsu, the amount of skill that goes into it, it takes years and years and years to become a really good fighter. And it's impressive that these guys can go out there and do that.
And that's what I love about Ashley's story is, her and I went to high school together, and she was the high school cheerleader. I don't know that she had ever had a,
altercation.
Yes. I mean, she was not at all like that. And then she tragically, her older brother graduated with me, and her older brother passed away right after graduation, and she really struggled with it. And she just started it, just as a way to let out some steam. Yeah. And she ended up going from there to California. She fights for Dan Henderson out of his camp. And then she got on the Ultimate Fighter TV show. She was on it for the season,
so cool.
and now is fighting in the UFC. And I mean, and even when we talk, she's like, "You would have never guessed I'd be here." I said, "No clue."
It sounds like it helped her out in like a really bad part of her life.
Absolutely,
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and starting the first Monday in September, I'm gonna do the 30 free days where Heffernan trains at
IBJJA. Yeah, that's where I used to go.
I'm gonna start doing it.
You'll love it, dude. Like I told you over text, be careful, because you'll get addicted.
And I'm gonna get beat up a lot. I know that,
dude. It's one of the best feelings in the world to like you go there and you completely get your face stomped in. Like you completely leave there hurting, but you know that you held your own with some straight killers, people that can just completely, murder someone if they wanted to. And you went and you tangled with the devil type thing. Like you went, it's one of those things where you feel good about yourself leaving even when you got your ass beat.
Right.
And Howard Stern talks about this all the time. That's what I think so cool about the UFC is, like the old heavyweight boxers. I mean, Tyson looked like a man child. I mean, Ali looked like, it would be so cool to be that guy. And that's what I even think about Ashley, because I mean, she's like 115 pounds. I mean, she could be in any bar in America and some guy slap her and, on the butt, and she's going to beat the shit out of that guy.
Break her arm.
And that's what's so cool to me.
I agree. You see people like that I used to go to IBJJA with, and they don't look like they could do anything to anyone, but then they're like, wrapping me up in a pretzel. Yeah. And it's people from, like, you got your electricians, you got people that like what are those people that like probation officers, like cops, all these different people from different parts of the world come in and do this one thing, and you always kind of bro out over it, and it's like then they go back into their life. It's just like a weird situation.
And what I've noticed, just real quick, by talking to the people that we've talked to that have done jiu-jitsu, I feel like it's almost like it even kind of, and this is probably dumb, but I feel like it changes even their brain chemistry, because I feel like they're like easier to talk to.
It's humbling. It's
which
very,
is really
very
weird
humbling
to like say that, but I feel like I'm associating it because everybody we've talked to that has done MMA or mixed martial arts or jiu-jitsu, like it's almost like they have a different like way of thinking about the world.
Yeah, for sure. Sense. It's a very like spiritual thing, I think, and I think your ego goes right out the door. You have people that come in and they have a huge ego, and then they don't last because they can't physically take getting beat up or being bested.
Right.
But this is a place where you go and it keeps you humble and keeps your ego away, and you leave your ego at the door and you walk in and you just kind of like let out all the stuff, and you leave feeling like a better person. Like the coach there, he always used to say, sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail, and like let's figure out what we're gonna be today, that kind of thing. And then like he used to also say metal sharpens metal, or steel sharpens steel. Mm-hmm. That's one of those things. So you're making yourself more of a badass in this situation. I really, like, if I had the time, I would be all over it. But it's
tough, and I've got the free time right now, at least for the time being.
Yeah,
I mean, we're getting close to a potential baby situation, but
here starting on like the 20th, I'll literally be in school from 7:30 in the morning and then working until like 9, 10 o'clock at night.
But yeah, so I mean, everybody that's listening, you know where to find us. Juice in the Morning on Facebook, Juice in the AM on Twitter, Juice in the AM on Instagram. I know I gave the Smugcast some shit, but once again, congrats guys on getting to 100 episodes. They have some really big plans for some live episodes coming in here soon, where we want to do a real show, or they want to do a real show where they have a lot of very talented people doing stand up and things like that. I did mention Heffernan, but also once again I want to mention Heffernan's Home Services. If you guys need any kind of anything done on your outdoor patio, your wall washing, your
power washing, gutters clean,
painting, anything like that,
concrete clean,
anything like that, just look up Heffernan's Home Services on Google, because it's very easy to do. His number, he's the first thing to pop up. And when you're doing any kind of service, just remember that Juice sent you. Say promo code JUICE and you'll get 10% off your services. So once again, Heffernan's Home Services, it's quality service done right. I don't know. I forget what the tagline is that I made up, but it's awesome, and he's a great dude, and he's somebody that's consistent. You're always going to get a good job done out of him.
Yeah, he takes a lot of pride in his work.
Right.
For sure.
And thank you guys for joining. I'm glad that you guys made the long trip up here. I know you guys maybe had to
it's nice to
have had a late night, but I think we killed it. Like, it was one of my favorite episodes, made me laugh more than I've laughed in a long time on the podcast. So I appreciate it.
Hey, no problem.
Thanks, guys. And as we get out of here,
we hope you guys enjoyed the podcast, and hopefully the juice is worth the squeeze.
Boom.
There was a decorated general with a heart of gold that likened him to all the stories he told of past battles won and lost and legends of old. A seasoned veteran in his own time, on the battlefield he gained respectful fame, with many medals of bravery and stripes to his name. He grew a beard as soon as he could to cover the scars on his face, and always urged his men on. But on the eve of a great battle with the infantry and dream, the old general tossed in his sleep and wrestled with his meaning. He awoke from the night to tell what he had seen, and walked slowly out of his tent. All the men held tall with their chests in the air, with the courage in their blood and a fire in their stare. And it was a great morning and they all wondered how they would fare, till the old general told them to go home. He said, I have seen the others, and I have discovered that this fight is not worth fighting. And I've seen their mothers, and I will know other to follow me where I'm going. So take a shower and shine your shoes. You got no time to lose. You are young men, you must be living. Take a shower and shine your shoes. You got no time to lose. You are young men, you must be living. Go now, you are forgiven. But the men stood fast with their guns on their shoulders, not knowing what to do with the contradicting orders. The general said he would do his own duty, but he would extend it no further. The men could go as they pleased, but not a man moved. Their eyes gazed straight ahead, till one by one they stepped back and not a word was said. And the old general was left with his own words echoing in his head. He then prepared to fight. He said, I have seen the others, and I have discovered that this fight is not worth fighting. No. And I've seen their mothers, and I will know other to follow me where I'm going. So take a shower and shine your shoes. Oh, you got no time to lose. You are young men, you must be living.